The ARX-01 drum expansion for the Fantom-G adds a whole new way of creating drum sounds never before available in a Workstation keyboard. Going beyond the boundaries of a conventional synthesizer or sampler, this drum expansion processor card lets you create custom 24-piece drum kits within an interactive 3D environment. Powered by Roland's new Supernatural technology, the ARX-01 combines amazing expressiveness and sound quality with real-time editing. You have complete control over each drum element, like shell depth, head tuning, and muffling. You can add human characteristics like flams and rolls, or cymbal choking that can be synced to your song tempo. And everything is easily controlled within the ARX-01's graphic environment using the Fantom-G's front panel controls or a USB mouse. An ARX-01 drum kit is made up of 24 individual sounds, and each kit has its own multi-effects and reverb processors. The ARX-01 drum expansion starts with 40 preset drum kits ranging from acoustic drums to the sounds of vintage gear. These presets were mixed at the best studios to be production ready out of the box and are provided to give you a great starting point to begin creating drum parts for your projects. The real power of the ARX-01 drum expansion comes from designing your own kits. To begin, either select a preset kit as a starting place or a newly initialized kit. Press a key on the keyboard to call up a tone. The ARX will display a group of settings that are unique to that tone's characteristics. The ARX-01 drum expansion provides different parameters for both acoustic and electronic type tones. The settings for acoustic kick drums and snares let you change shell sizes, tunings from super low to extreme high pitches, and vary the amount of muffling or dampening that can be added to the drum. Mic position adjusts the amount of room ambience for the tone. And buzz varies the amount of snare bleeding you hear when you mic a drum kit. Hi-hats and cymbals have their own settings as well, including adjustment of the size of the cymbal and the amount of sustain. You can create hi-hats as tight or loose as you need. Crash cymbals can be varied from tiny splash cymbals to large ride cymbals. The ARX-01 drum expansion gives wide-ranging control over electronic-type tones. Electronic kicks have adjustments for tuning, attack level, decay, cutoff, and resonance. Put your own spin on a classic 808 or 909 sound. You can shape snare tones, hi-hats, and percussion that harken back to classic drum machines or create completely new sounds. To give your kit a more human feel, flams and rolls can be applied to each tone. You can use note velocity to switch the flam or roll effect on or off. You can select from varying note values and randomize the change in the strength of flam notes and their time interval for greater realism. Flams and rolls can also be synced to song tempos, including real-time changes to tempo. To give greater realism to cymbals, the sustain of cymbals and hi-hats can be choked or muted as they would be by a live drummer. You can choke individual sounds or groups of sounds by simply assigning the function to the keyboard. The ARX-01 drum expansion includes a 24-channel mixing desk, plus a multi-effects system and a stereo reverb. Each tone in a drum kit has its own volume and panning adjustments. A tone is also provided with its own powerful compressor limiter and EQ that has its own routing settings to the ARX-01's multi-effects and stereo reverb. The ARX01 drum expansion multi-effects processor includes 47 different effect algorithms, including filter effects, modulation, chorus, amp modeling, lo-fi and tempo-synced delay effects. The ARX01 stereo reverb is a studio-quality reverb processor with 4 different types. For global control of your entire drum kit, a 24-channel mixer view lets you adjust volume and pan settings for each tone, plus compressor and reverb settings. There are also fader groups provided, so you can divide the 24 tones among 8 groups and use these group faders to adjust the volume of the groups. Tones can also be layered with another tone within a drum kit. This lets you combine a hi-hat or tambourine with a snare, for example. Tones can be organized into mute groups. This is helpful when tones are layered together and you wish to mute certain tones. The ARX01 drum expansion is totally integrated with the Fantom-G's live mode, studio mode, and audio MIDI recorder. In live mode and studio mode, the ARX01 is given its own channel strip, separate from the Fantom-G's other sounds. ARX01 can also be assigned its own global MIDI channels, so ARX drum kits can be accessed by external sequencers or controllers. The ARX01 drum expansion is easily assigned to any one of the Fantom-G's 128 tracks of MIDI sequencing. ARX drum kits allow you to change any one of a tone's settings so sounds fit perfectly within your tracks. For example, you can retune the snare and add mufflings to it so it cuts through the mix better. Your drum sound possibilities become limitless with the new ARX01 drum expansion. It's like having a virtual pro drum shop and a drum tech inside your Fantom-G workstation. Use this ARX card to create the perfect studio kit or a thrashed-out garage set, or something completely new. Add the dynamics and spontaneity of a real drummer for just the right vibe. The ARX01 card puts you in the producer's chair, letting you change and reshape your sounds as the tracks evolve. And the results are quick, easy, and immediate with the ARX01's animated, icon-based user interface. The ARX01 drum expansion is a must-have addition to your Fantom-G workstation.